But before then, BUNI Boy is a tale of an 18-year-old Nigerian who traveled from faraway Lagos State to Maiduguri. In this interview, Niyi Ayola Daniels, also known as the BUNI Boy, tells us how the intervention and compassion of the alkali who presided over his case in a Sharia court after he was falsely accused of theft saved him from mob action and possibly death. Take a look.
In 1983, while I was in secondary school, I was doing my A-levels in secondary school. I was doing my A-levels, and I was the second half of the A-level, that's the upper six. And at that time, my elder brother and my sister, they were students of University of Maiduguri. At that time, my elder brother had actually graduated, while my sister was still a student at that University of Maiduguri. And back home then, University of Maiduguri was a darling university. Every one of us at home as Yorubas living in Lagos, even though I was born in Abeokuta, but I grew up in Lagos. The university that we all wanted to go to, particularly myself, was University of Maiduguri. And it was obvious, the reason was obvious. My brother and my sister, they made me to know how beautiful the university was, how the university took great care in ensuring that the students were well taken care of, and everything was beautiful. They kept telling me beautiful stories of Maiduguri as a peaceful town, beautiful stories of the university. As a matter of fact, the common parlance then, at home then, if you want to be made, you've got to come to University of Maiduguri. And I wanted to be made, you know, so that was all that was on my mind. And of course, I also used to see them fly Nigeria Airways from Lagos to Maiduguri to go to school at the University of Maiduguri. So one day, my father just called me and said, "Oh, look, Niyi, you'll be traveling to Maiduguri to go deliver money to your sister. Your sister needed money urgently, and she couldn't come due to a lot of academic pressures on her. So you have to travel to University of Maiduguri." I was so elated. I said, wow, finally I'm going to fly by Nigeria Airways, because at that time I'd not been on a plane before. So I was so excited. I said, okay, now I'm going to fly to Maiduguri. I've always wanted to go to Maiduguri. I love to see that university, that great university, because I wanted to be made to. But my father dampened my enthusiasm and said that, look, Niyi, this time around, you are not going to fly to Maiduguri. You are going to go by train to Maiduguri. I said, Daddy, why? He said, look, Niyi, I want you to know Nigeria. You were born in Abeokuta. You grew up in Lagos. You probably thought that there are only two states in Nigeria, Ogun State and Lagos State. But Nigeria is a lot bigger than that. So I want you to know Nigeria. And the best way through which you can know Nigeria is to travel by train. I boarded the train from Lagos, Ido Terminal. We moved Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan, Oshogbo, Mokwa, Bida, Jeba. We kept going. Kafanchan, we kept going. Everything was fine. I was able to see the vision that my father had for me to really see Nigeria, because I was able to interact with different people. Different people came on board the train, some left. I was able to have real exchange of interaction, communication, relationships, meeting people from different parts of the country. I met military cadets who were going to NDA. We talked. In fact, some of them joked. They said, oh, you hope to be a lawyer? I said, yeah, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. They said, even in the military, we need lawyers in the military. I told them my mother would not allow me to join the military. But it was great. Everything was going fine until something all of a sudden happened that changed the entire narratives. A woman entered the train. I was carrying a lot of money. Somehow, my trouser protruded. It was evident there was a lot of money that this young boy, this young man was carrying. And of course, I was also naive. It showed that I had never been on that kind of journey before. From the questions I was asking, from me tasting kilishi for the first time at that time. So I was excited. In fact, I told my dad, I told myself that I'll buy kilishi also for my dad, that he needs to taste kilishi, because this is one of my takeaway from this trip. But all of a sudden, the woman saw the money on me and then conceived a plan. The plan was to actually make me to force me to release that money to her. And how did she try to achieve that? She went to tell the policemen who were the escort of the train that this man who sat beside her stole her money while she was asleep. So the policeman came to me and they told me that, look, a report was brought against you that you stole the money belonging to this woman. I said, I stole money? They said, yes, that this is what the report or the accusation leveled against you by the woman. I told the policeman, I said, yes, I had a lot of money on me, but this money was given to me by my father. And I had a letter to show everything concerning this money. The letter captured my purpose of the journey from Lagos to Maiduguri, where I was going, and my sister that I needed to see, and all of that. But policemen, they refused to believe me. Before I knew what was happening, I received hot slaps. And not only that, the policeman hit me with the butt of the gun, seeking to make me to make confessional statement for an offense that I did not commit. I was able to gather courage, and I told the policeman that, look, I was taught as a student that whenever there's a dispute of this nature between two people, the arm of government that should resolve that dispute should be the court. I said, we'll go to court. So I was forced to come down at BUNI railway terminal. That is the reason for the title of my book, BUNI Boy. The boy that came down at that BUNI railway terminal. We came down, a lot of crowd have already gathered. Before I knew it, virtually everybody in the village knew what was going on. That a Yoruba boy had been arrested for stealing money belonging to somebody in that village, and I was locked up in the police cell for some days, and eventually I was charged to a court, to an alkali court. And here it is where the beauty of Nigerian diversity emerged. Now this alkali judge, he kept looking at me when I tried to talk, because the language of communication in the court was Hausa, and I could not speak Hausa. I do not understand Hausa. I tried to explain. My voice kept shaking. But the alkali surprised me. Instead of using that his authority to intimidate me, he used it to protect me from the mob psychology. Because outside, there were the out-of-school children, the Almajiri, who, to them, why waste time with this Yoruba boy? You have already caught him for stealing. Let us do jungle justice to him. The Almajiri out-of-school children, they considered themselves as maybe the witness, the accuser, the judge, and the executioner at the same time. So, but I bless God for the life of that alkali who shielded me. God bless the alkali. Then all of a sudden, when I least expected it, I just heard the alkali look at me directly and he said, Adeni. I said, sir, Adeni, say, calm down, calm down. Tell me exactly what happened on the train. I was very shocked because I never expected that the alkali could speak English, because he did not dress up like an English judge. He wore this kind of kanuri cap, and he wore a babariga. So and the village was so remote. I didn't know that he could speak English, clear English. That English that the alkali spoke gave me hope. It was like lifesaver for me. That's how the alkali ordered 2 new sets of policemen to go to Lagos. And as I was later told, the alkali used his own money to sponsor that trip. The alkali taught me the values of the strength in Nigeria's diversity. It taught me that we all belong to the common humanity of God, regardless of tribe, regardless of religion, regardless of culture, regardless of language, that we all belong to the commonwealth of humanity, and that we should be our brother's keeper. That is the lesson, the great lesson that alkali taught me. It taught me that humanity knows no tribe. Humanity knows no religion. Humanity knows no dialect. Humanity is truth in action. Humanity is justice. Justice is humanity. And that was how the policemen went to Lagos to trace my father. And they traced my father. He was able to show them a carbon copy of that letter that he gave to me. More than that, he recorded the serial number of the Naira notes that he gave to me. Perhaps he did that maybe out of instinct by virtue of his own training. With that direct positive evidence, they brought that report, that proof of evidence to the alkali, and alkali used that to explain the fact that justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. Because if the alkali had not ordered the policemen to go to Lagos to go and obtain evidence to prove my innocence, he would have run into trouble with the mob outside, the crowd, because they would not know the reason for releasing me. So he needed to make justice not only to be done, but to be seen to be done. Nigeria is a country of great promise, and that the strength of Nigeria lies in our diversity, in the unity of the country, and that we should use this Independence Day celebration to recognize the fact that yes, we have different challenges here and there currently going on, but the greatness of Nigeria will emerge when we begin to appreciate the diversity in our unity, and that the strength of Nigeria and the greatness of Nigeria lies in us appreciating that diversity in our unity and the strength of that diversity. Now, another lesson here for Nigerians is that just like one former American president said, do not think more of what your country can do for you. Think of what you also can do for your country.